YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and there has been an update to Total War Attila. I'm a couple days late to the scene because I was actually out all week traveling. Yay, lots of fun. Really wasn't. The work trips, I'm glad to have a good job, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to travel. But I'm going to change that lighting there just a little bit. Yeah, so it's good, but it keeps me busy. Now, the laptop was helpful. You would have gotten no videos this week had it not been for that laptop. I know you didn't get a ton, but I got you some good stuff while I was gone. We finished the Homeworld Deserts of Karak campaign. Go check that out. It was a lot of fun. We got you an extra Himyar episode and some online battles. But yeah, I'm back at the house. I'll be able to record on my desktop again, which is much easier and allows me to do more. But let's talk through this patch for Total War Attila. This is where I'm going to cover the patch and my general thoughts on the Slavs. I will have a video for each faction, including the free LC Garamantians, that we'll cover in a little more detail over the next few days. So hang tight here. So the free LC, you get Garamantia. I'm sure this is no news to anybody. But if you look at their what they get extra melee attack in the deserts. Big surprise because that's where they are based at. Fractured Faith, so you get increased public order penalties for religious differences, which is actually going to be kind of tricky. You get immune to desert attrition, which is nice. You can basically be a jerk and run all over the desert, and that'll hurt factions like the Sassanids and East Rome that are not immune to desert attrition. Well, I mean, the Sassanids can be eventually, but Sun Scorched, you get extra sanitation. That's actually pretty nice for one of these lesser factions. Now, there was a lot of different patch fixes that came in, so let's talk through some of these patch fixes. Basically, the biggest one that you get to see right here at the top, and I'll highlight it so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this one fixed a bug causing units in a set stance, e.g. spear wall, to drop their stance when engaging the enemy. The affected units would engage the enemy without remaining in formation and move away from their stationary location. So basically this spear wall bug happened with shield wall as well. This has supposedly been fixed. I have not had a chance to test it yet. We will test it. The other thing that happened here that I didn't actually see in the patch notes anywhere was that with the Roman units, they took any Roman unit that had an attacking testudo, they have renamed that to the mobile testudo, and then they have given them the additional ability of shield wall, which gives them a bonus versus infantry. And they took away the bonus versus, well, there never was a bonus versus cavalry on the mobile testudo, but basically that's what happened. So the mobile testudo gives the Legion the ability to move and have a plus 55 missile block chance. The shield wall gives them like a plus 10 or 15 versus infantry, I can't remember. So basically it gives Roman infantry the ability to be a little more useful on the battlefield, which is actually quite nice. I guess they couldn't fix the bonus versus infantry in the attacking testudo, and that's how they decided to handle it, or they just wanted the Romans to have the flavor of each, I guess. Which, either way, I'm okay with that. I think it's going to be a good fix. A lot of this other stuff in here isn't it wasn't a big deal to me. I mean, there's something they call out right here. The campaign AI got fixated on chasing human hordes around the map, and yes, they did. I hope they have fixed that. It seems like something that should have been done a long time ago, but they did. And then if you just go where it says all campaigns, so this is something to take note of right here. When units are being recruited in a sieged settlement, they will continue recruiting but not become available until the siege is lifted. So that's interesting. So right when a siege is lifted, you could potentially have access to a lot of units on the next turn, or right when it's lifted, maybe. I don't know. That's different, and I'm not sure exactly how that'll play out. Honestly, not exactly sure why they did it, but just it was something to note. And this is an interesting one too. I'm curious to see how it plays out. Campaign AI armies are less likely to leave a settlement unprotected when able to garrison them and have sufficient forces to protect them. An exception to this is when they are making a last stand on their final settlement and are overpowered like 10 to 1 or something. So Grand Campaign, East and West Rome have now been prevented from becoming puppets or vassals right at the start of the Grand Campaign, which we actually saw whenever I was playing East Rome. Pretty sure that they became my vassal. The West Romans did. Parthian Shot got added to Alani Horse Archers, Grey Hairs, and Cataphract Archers. That's interesting. Lightning doesn't strike twice bonus for the White Huns has been corrected. I don't know exactly what that was, but it's in the campaign. So removed food penalties from Roman military buildings in Grand Campaign and replaced with a maintenance cost. I think that's a good move. I like that. Reduced siege base or siege duration time in Grand Campaign. So again, that's a good deal. I think base siege duration time, at least I think it'll be a good deal. Reduced base colonization cost, that'll be good too. Hopefully the AI will actually colonize more too. Last Roman, they made some fixes to things that were going wrong there. I'm not going to cover all those. And in Age of Charlemagne, they changed quite a bit of stuff, actually. I don't understand all of these because some of it has to do more with like storylines and stuff. But for instance, there's an interesting one here. It says when playing as Charlemagne, there are new effects to represent paganism's strong influence in the regions of Saxony during this period. So apparently you can get like pagan uprisings, I think. There's a rebalance to the AI to behave differently with different difficulty levels, which this is interesting. We'll have to test this one out at some point just to see. Supposedly the AI is more aggressive at the higher difficulty levels. War weariness now scales with difficulty as well, so as you ratchet up the difficulty, war weariness will play a bigger role, so that might make it a little more challenge at the higher difficulty levels, because war weariness never even really hurt me in the theme of Sicily. It's like as long as you were winning, you were fine. And supposedly they said war weariness, I don't remember where they showed it, but basically the number of wars that you're in now plays a bigger role. Yeah, right here. Various balancing tweaks to war weariness. The number of wars you're in is now more influential. So that might be the change. Because again, remember in my Theme of Sicily campaign, as long as you were destroying people, you were good. Even if you had a ton of wars, that may change now. I don't know. This is a lot of story and event changes. I'm not going to cover all those. You can go look at it yourself. I'll have a link in the description. And then they changed did some campaign changes, more Muslim, Spanish, Lombard, Frankish, and Danish names to avoid some repeating names. I'm trying to think. Increased public order penalties from tax levels in the Age of Charlemagne campaign. I wasn't really familiar with that, but let's see what else. Garrisons. It says garrisons now take 3 turns to starve before they start taking attrition casualties. Overall siege length has been kept the same by adjusting the garrison attrition rate. So that's something to be noted. And there's some battle balancing changes. So they made some changes to dead general. It's been reduced slightly. And then there's this general died recently penalty that's been reduced slightly. I mean, there's a bunch of different stuff through here. You just need to go read. I mean, they made a bunch of tweaks to a bunch of Avar units. All of this is Age of Charlemagne. They didn't do much to they didn't do a whole lot to the vanilla game, unfortunately, but lots of tweaks to the Age of Charlemagne, like lots of small tweaks. So that ought to be interesting. I can't cover all these right now because it would be boring. But basically there's a whole bunch of bug fixes here too. I'm trying to remember if there's anything really notable there. I don't think so. And then they did a bunch of changes to the Allans based on a forum thread. So there's a bunch of changes to Alani units here. So again, you can go take a look at that. So just some fixes to the Alani. So that was the main changes. Overall, it's good to see a patch. I wish that they maybe would have done a little bit more to balancing in the base game, but they didn't. In terms of the DLC, we'll cover that in the next video, but hopefully this gives you a quick overview of the Garamantian update patch. HeirofCarthage signing off for now, and I will see you all back next time.